welcome back to the Exceptional Group, where we teach you how to transform your ordinary to the exceptional. And we are continuing our topic of dealing with difficult women. Now, I know, but you need to see the first video first, and then that will give you a context of what I mean by dealing with difficult women. So, today, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at Bossy Bertha. So by way of introduction, I've got a little descriptive prose about the caricature called Bossy Bertha. So hopefully you'll enjoy.
Oh dear, Bossy Bertha. Well, I'm certain we've all encountered her somewhere in our lives. You know the type, it's her way or the highway, and she doesn't mind who she has to offend or undermine to get her point across or get things done her way. She's a bit like a whirlwind, a tsunami, damaging anyone or anything that dares to stand in her path. She is like a crack in a dam. She will keep on and on and on and on. In fact, she'd probably make a great advertisement for a long life battery, or better still, a demolition tool. And yes, like a wrecking ball, she leaves a trail of mass destruction and rubble behind her. Oh, but she's far too busy in her next conquest to clean up her mess. She doesn't have time for time wasters or people who aren't serious. We have a job to do, and she means she has a job to do, although she'll normally get others to do it for her, but it must always be done her way. Unfortunately, when others have done the job, Bertha is very good at criticizing and pointing out what isn't being done properly. And she just loves ordering others around. She's like a machine gun, firing out instructions in rapid succession. Even if others have a better suggestion, and they normally do, her constant interruptions and loud, brash manner in which she conducts herself in meetings or interactions of any kind typically means that others really don't stand a chance of being heard or listened to. Often she is the loudest in a group, always the first one to speak up and let everybody know what she thinks. There we go, on and on and on she goes, and when she'll stop, nobody knows. She has awful manners. She doesn't care who is speaking. She will constantly interrupt or roll her eyes and show such contempt for anyone else who is speaking, especially if she thinks she's more senior or experienced than them. But the worst version of Bertha is when she slithers undetected like a heat-seeking missile, or some might say, well, I'm not actually going to say what some might say, but there's only one creature that slithers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that description of Bossy Bertha. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to unpack Bossy Bertha and just begin to have a look at why she behaves the way she does, and how you and I can either identify her in ourselves and put it right, or how we respond and react when we are in the presence of Bossy Bertha. So why is Bertha so bossy? See, the thing is, her behaviour betrays what's really going on, because she appears confident and loud because she's got something to say, but that actually betrays what is really, really going on internally. You know, a while ago, many years ago, I saw a book called "Excuse Me, Your Rejection is Showing." Now, this would be an approximation of Bertha's behaviour. I say that because her behaviour actually, as I said, betrays what's really going on. Because what's going on internally is that she's actually very insecure. And this insecurity feeds into her selfishness, because as far as she's concerned, she's constantly having to look out for herself, because maybe growing up no one ever did. And so her ability to put herself aside and consider the needs of others is quite foreign to her. She would never admit to it, because she never takes the time to bring herself into check. She's so busy deflecting her own feelings of inadequacy onto others. She's completely oblivious about how people really feel about her, or even say behind her back, unfortunately. I mean, her friendships tend to be quite transient, because after a while people will only be able to tolerate her when they have to. But as soon as they have served their time, they're kind of out of here, which is a bit sad. And those who do stick around tend to enable her. When I say enable her, what that means is that when she's misbehaving, when she's bossing people about, when she's insulting people or interrupting people, just being generally bad behaved, they will explain her behaviour. They'll say, oh, but you know she doesn't mean it, or you know that's just how she is. Whether she means it or not, if that's how she is or not, bad behaviour is bad behaviour. But those people who do enable her, they tend to do it because they're so used to her bad behaviour. As I said, they make excuses for it, or they're just too afraid to confront it. Unfortunately, Bertha's friendship groups tend to go around in circles. She falls out with people a lot, and she may even have a reputation for being a bit of a case who people tend to tiptoe around and tend to take her in small doses. So, how do we deal with Bossy Bertha? Maybe you're Bossy Bertha and you're here listening to me and you're thinking, oh, that sounds a lot like me. Or maybe there's someone at your workplace who is Bossy Bertha incarnate. It might be your boss, it could be a co-worker, it could even be someone junior to you, doesn't matter. She comes in all shapes and all sizes. Well, first of all, when you and I are dealing with Bossy Bertha, the first thing we have to do is choose not to be intimidated by her bad behaviour. Repeat after me. I will not be intimidated by her bad behaviour, because that's what it is. It's bad behaviour. You and I cannot control how people behave. What we can do is control how we allow their behaviour to affect us. Number 2, manage your expectations. In refusing to be intimidated by her, it means that you're going to have to confront her about some things. You're going to have to stand up to her about some things. You're going to have to take her to task about some things. You're going to have to say no, or actually, I don't appreciate you speaking to me like that. But what you must do in all of that is manage your expectations. When you do have to confront her about an issue, remember why you're doing it. Don't expect her to take responsibility or apologise, because trust me, she won't. She'll either fly into a rage or burst into floods of tears at your cruel, harsh treatment of her. I know, go figure, eh? When you manage your expectations, you need to be clear. You have to communicate your truth, whether it's an opinion or suggestion, because like her, you also have the right to express what you think within a given context. Now, I'm going to stress what I mean by a given context. How you handle Bossy Bertha in different contexts will need to be adapted. So, for example, if it's a work situation and you need to confront something, it's always useful to arrange a proper meeting with her and have like an impartial third party there. Not necessarily a union rep, because that might escalate it, but someone who's impartial, who can say this is what was discussed. You know, someone who can verify the facts about what actually took place, because trust me, she will rehearse the event completely differently. Or if it's in the context of a meeting, make sure that what happens is clearly documented, maybe like in minutes or something like that. On a personal level, if it's not like work related, just limit the time you spend with her. You don't have to spend every waking hour with somebody who behaves like that. Limit the time you have to spend with her, and just be very careful what you say around her. But one thing we must bear in mind is that we must always be kind, always be gracious, but never be afraid to say to her, no, I disagree with you on that point. You have an opinion. So, if like me, you've had the pleasure of experiencing Bossy Bertha, please share your comments or experiences, because we'd love to hear from you and really be a sense of support and a sense of community for people who have experienced this. Or maybe you might be sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, she sounds a lot like me. Doesn't matter. If there are things in you that identify with Bossy Bertha, make a quality decision today not to behave like that. Maybe find someone you can trust to talk to about it. Maybe someone who can help hold you account when you start behaving like that. Also, there may be a number of people, if you have noticed those traits in you, there may be a number of people you also need to apologise to and just set things right. Maybe because of how you've spoken to them in the past, how you've been treating them. But you know what, hon? whatever side of the road you find yourself today, by taking a long, hard look at ourselves, we can begin to identify what we need to stop doing or start doing. Remember, the road to being exceptional begins one decision at a time. So, make that decision today. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and why not subscribe so that you can receive notifications every time we upload new content. Blessings to you, and remember, you've got what it takes to be exceptional. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday, you've always got today.